We just let it roll.
It's the Botox crying out.
Are you looking up? Oh, okay. Nothing. We're just gonna rock for a second.
You guys almost saw the first Frank Oliver and Co. WWE SmackDown.
You know what? I drove by a WWE like tractor trailer the other day. It literally dead ass. It had John Cena on the side of it, and I was like, "My fucking boy!"
God, funny.
Look at this! Look at this! I took a picture of it.
Okay, we're gonna send this to Liv for the show.
Check it out. It is had WWE on the back. I sped up so I could see this thing.
Yes, he did. He put his car in auto mode and he goes, "Let me take some vids."
You zoom in up all next to it. It had Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, and some like diva. I don't know who it was, but welcome to Two Baltimorons. Hello, with Heather Kelley, and my name's Christian Olson. Mike is doing some random shit as
what do you
usual.
Mean? I'm right here.
Heather, how's your morning going?
It's been going fantastic, Christian Olson.
Is it better now that you're on the show?
So much better. This is all I wanted today.
I love that.
This is the only thing on my calendar for the day.
Now it's on your calendar. Well, hey, we're here to talk a little bit about, not just WWE, but HOAs. What are your thoughts on them?
They can be good. They can be bad. It really depends. What are your thoughts on HOAs?
Same thing. And I think it comes back to like what the individual is looking for when they purchase a home.
Yeah.
Like me, like where I'm at right now, I would love a detached home, but also like I don't want to fucking do yard work, right? Like I don't want to have to keep up with all that. My schedule is so busy nowadays, and I'm not like it's just busy. And
are you
like
looking to buy a home this year?
Next year.
Okay.
I have some things in plan. I'm actually talking with my tax guy about opening up an S Corp and like an LLC here soon. So I can start saving money on taxes and leveraging things that way. But nonetheless, yeah, like I don't want to have to cut my lawn every single weekend or, people love a garden, and I do love some plants and growing some vegetables here and there, but like people make a garden.
Do you not have to mow your lawn if you have an HOA?
Well, okay, so think of this, like Amanda's place in Annapolis. Have you been there before? Mm-mm. So living there...
So funny, she said the same thing to me like 2 days ago.
There's no like grass that you have to maintain. There's one flower bed, but like all we've done is really pull weeds there. So there's nothing that you really have to maintain. But also that comes with like a kicker, and it's kind of in our blog, so check it out if you haven't already. But HOAs, they range in how much you pay a month.
Okay.
Some can be expensive, some are pretty minimal. But it goes back to like what the HOA is covering and offering for each certain community.
Okay.
Have you seen a community that's just like, yeah, we just take care of common ground, or like exterior yard maintenance or something like that?
My like typical experience when I see HOAs and when I hear about HOAs, they're telling me I can't build my fence. They're telling me that my shrubs need to cut down, et cetera, et cetera. I don't ever really, I'm actually kind of glad that we're doing this because I never really hear the upsides to HOAs.
Yeah,
I've never really seen them do
everyone
anything.
comes at it from a very like, kind of like how you did. Like, I can't build my fence, I can't build a garage, and that may be true for some people.
Can't park my RV here.
But you can't assume that for everything, because then you're going to miss out on an opportunity that if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with this certain space or square footage, boom, that property in the HOA checks it. It's where others don't, and then you'll be missed out on that, and you'll be looking at homes forever.
Yeah.
So that's what I tell people, like, hey, I know you might not be comfortable with an HOA currently, but what if it checks all of your boxes and you can still make the changes to the property as you'd like?
Okay.
Right? So I think there's ways around it, and we just have to make people aware of that because a lot of people aren't. But some of the benefits to like HOAs, like everything, the thing that I like, and this is kind of like how it might be speaking about like how I like my life, is like everything is like uniform. It's the same.
There's like uniform. You like a very clear like outline of how everything needs to be.
Exactly. Like we have rules in place for a reason.
Yeah.
These things mean this. These things mean that. And I'm about that. Like,
it
granted,
honestly kind of surprises me you never went military.
I thought about it for a little bit when I was on my David Goggins kick. I was like, this real estate shit don't work out. I'm coming for you, you know? But then, you know, been battled with an injury for a while now. Nonetheless, I don't know. I do like that, like, uniform, like, hey, this is what the entire community follows, because then it's like cut and dry. Like, you know exactly how things should look, how things happen.
What's expected out of you.
Exactly. And then most of the times, even in those communities, you can still build your fence. You could still build, I don't know, whatever the hell you wanted to do. Like, the main thing that HOAs are like in place for is for that, like, uniformity. Is that a word?
It's so funny because that's literally the word that came to mind for me too, and I was like,
I don't know. Maybe we just English? You know, would that pass in Scrabble? Uniformity. It's got to for sure. That's a pretty good word too. I feel like you got some good, like, 3 or 4 letter points in there.
Yeah. Synchronicity. They're looking for synchronicity.
So, like, if you wanted to paint your shutters pink, okay, get out of here. What are you, Barbie?
First of all, don't even do that. Don't even do that.
What? Okay. I feel like I just touched on a part of it. Like there's something that she thought about that pink. Like, it went back.
Okay, so
what happened?
I'm not gonna lie. I had neighbors when I lived on Hanover, and even with, like, the red brick, they had these, like, light pink. But I think the difference is between, like, that, like, cotton candy baby pastel pink that you picture, and, like, I think especially nowadays there's a much more, like, neutral tone of light pink that's not as, like, abrasive and feminine.
Here's something that I'm just thinking, because you live there, you saw it every day. Was it pink? Or was it this, like, 1920s shutter that's been faded? It was originally red.
It was pink.
It was pink?
It was pink.
Can you imagine being the contractor going up there to paint that damn thing if you're not the owner?
Honestly, I really wish we weren't even sitting at the same table, because I feel like you're being hella judgmental.
About the pink? You liked them?
On the pink? So I don't think I would do it, but I feel like there's a very tasteful way to do it and still have it look elevated and chic. And
but okay. Nonetheless,
this is Barbie's brick house.
Back to my argument. It's like, an HOA is not there to say you can't build your fence or you can't do this. I mean, it like, kind of is, but it just wants that uniformity. You know, that new word that we had brought up. And people get so scared of HOAs. I'm just like, look, like, you might have heard some horror stories, but I can promise you it's not all entirely like that. And then there's things that, like, if they come up with a new rule, it has to go through the board, and you have a board meeting and a board hearing and all these other things before that actually comes into place. And the reason I know that is because Amanda's place, they had, like, these new rules about parking, because we had two car garages and people were only parking 1 car in them. So every space was filled except for, like, people's actual garages. So then they were like, okay, now you have to use your garage for only car parking purposes. So some people had, like, a gym they built in there, which, like, I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. Like, I like to have a gym in there. So then they had a board hearing about it. You hop on a Zoom call, you chat with everyone about it. People voice their opinions. So it's not like some a-hole is signing off on it saying you can't have this anymore. It's completely changing, and now you got to sell your house because you hate your HOA.
Fair.
Does that make sense?
That's fair.
You know? Have you ever lived in an HOA?
I have, but I mean, I haven't owned, so it didn't matter. Like,
when
you're 9 years old, you don't really give a fuck about the shrubbery. You know, like, it doesn't really impact me. My dad's talking about it. I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I think people have the same idea when it comes to, like, renting out their property or property management, because, like, people look at it, it's like, oh, I got to rent out my place. I'm going to have these terrible tenants. They're going to rip on my property. They're going to do this, that, and the other. Okay, well, what if you just had a good property management company come in, right? Yeah. They always assume the worst, and, like, kind of sound like Mike here. We got to turn it into, like, a positive.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much opportunity that lies ahead, and how are we going to embrace that and move forward with it? So, I mean, HOAs, people.
HOAs.
They're something special. What else did we mention about HOAs in our blog? Pet regulations. Ooh, that's actually a good one. Parking. Bleh.
Does the HOA regulate pets?
Sometimes, yeah. One of my clients was looking at a condo in, I want to say it was Laurel. And
I feel like condos are different. I think it's different condo to HOA. I think there's a distinction there. Because when it comes to condos, that's essentially saying apartments. Like, no, you're not renting them, you own them, but you're still all in the same building. If your dog is loud and obnoxious and 2,000 pounds just
Damn, a
throughout the
2,000
place.
pound dog.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's there's
real quick. Me and Amara went to Husser's in Annapolis like 2 weeks ago or something. I saw the most obese dog in my life. Like the owners should be in jail. This dog was like, this is how he was walking. He was like obese. He's like walking like this, laboring and then like literally, I don't understand. They dragged this dog all around Annapolis, and when he finally got to the
first day out,
right? Honestly, when he got to the table, he just immediately just like flopped over, and it's like, oh, finally, we're here. But it was a breed that should not be like obese, so like it's on the owner. They must be feeding this guy motherfucking treats every minute of every hour. But going back to pets, yeah. So I can kind of see why people would say it. I can
see it on condos, but I think HOAs are different.
Yeah, but like what? Like there's like I guess a fine line between each, and I don't really have a big opinion about them. I'm not a dog owner currently. I mean, Amara has a dog. Mike and Amanda have a dog, and those are. I mean, I have one at home, but we don't live anywhere near an HOA. We don't have one, so I think it's a little bit different. And I don't know, the one that my client was interested in, you could only have like small or medium-sized dogs, but that's all it said. So like, is this subject for them to have their own opinion as the condo, as like, the HOA? I feel like
my German Shepherd is a medium-sized dog.
Right, like what defines that? Are we going to Google? Are we having a conversation about this?
Like, is there a weight outline?
We had put an offer in, I think, on the property. It didn't get accepted, so it doesn't matter. But like I was curious, I was like, what really defines that? Because I would see people walking around the community with what I would consider a medium to large size dog. And I'm like, okay, well then she'll be fine. Like no worries here.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. There's a whole bunch of restrictions, I guess, for pets.
Yeah.
But the one that I've experienced, it's I don't know, I guess a gray area that wasn't clearly defined. Yeah. Any rules regarding noise levels? Heather hit that one. HOA's budged in fees. They do have a budget though. Did you know that? Like HOAs have a budget on what they can spend their money on.
Yeah.
And I would love to see the breakdown because I think some HOAs go over, but like that's what you're paying into. You're paying into a budget for like trash service, your snow service, snow removal, your exterior lawn care or maintenance care for like grass and landscaping, pool, all this stuff. That too. And if you and that's another thing. You'll see properties with a pool, with a clubhouse, with all these other amenities. Most likely they'll be on the higher end because you're paying for more maintenance. You're paying for more people to take care of these things in your community, which is great because I love me a pool. I went to a community.
I love me a pool.
I went to a community in, I believe it was in Essex 2 weeks ago, and it was like a townhome or detached home community. There's different little parts of it that he had different styles of homes, but it had a pool, had a fitness center, had a clubhouse, a dog park, and guess what their monthly HOA was?
Like 120.
It was like $80 a month. And I'm like, what? You have all those things and it's $80 a month. Granted, people are going to come to the argument and say, hey, it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. You're probably right. It might increase here and there, but HOAs and condos. That's
as the community grows and as your home value
and they
grows
only
too.
That too, but also like, I think it can only grow by a certain percentage each year. So it's just like people when they get solar panels, like the electricity that I think it's that they give you from the solar panels costs a certain amount of money, and they can only raise that money per kilowatt by a certain percentage each year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't like solar panels. I'm sorry. But I feel like it's something similar to where people look at it as like they just raise all these things.
I don't know how it works.
On to the next thing.
We just every agent that I've talked to about it outside of our team, they've been like, oh yeah, we don't really know, just don't ask questions
about solar panels.
They'll come in maintenance.
What, solar panels?
Okay, yeah.
What do you mean?
They're like leased or something, so they have to come out every however many.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Solar panels, I think, are such a tricky thing because people look at them, they can save money on your electric bill, but also you got to look at like how long you're going to be in the home. Are you going to pay 60 to 80 grand for these solar panels and live in the house for the next 3 to 5 years? even 10, maybe your loan's not even paid off by then. But then because you spent 80 grand on solar panels, if there's a house next to you,
Do you spend that much on them?
Yeah. They're probably upwards of 80 grand. The cheapest you could probably find, and I don't know this to be 100% fact, but I'd say 50 to 60.
How much would you say that puts into like what the appraiser is going to think of it? Do you think any of that is going to give you return on investment?
I don't see it unless you have them fully paid off. But even then, like you have them fully paid off just to make an extra, like you're not making the entire 80, 90 grand back, at least in our market.
Yeah.
At least in our market, right? You might get an extra 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a little bit more, but you're not going to see a full 100% return. But what I've heard lately, because one of my clients is doing this and I've saw the numbers break down, is that you can get into certain programs like tax benefits from the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
So then like over certain years, I think his is 5 or 6, it ends up like he'll break even on his investment, but the city or the state for his tax write-offs, it'll like cover a good portion of that 80,000.
Heard.
Which is like a huge like benefit to him. I was like, dude, well, if you know you're breaking even nonetheless, like there you go.
Get after
and that's
it.
just from the tax benefit alone, right? So anything on your mind that you want to talk about today outside of solar panels, HOAs, WWE, and
I'm trying to think.
What's going on in your world?
Like my real estate world or like my everything world?
Everything world, life world,
Ooh.
real estate,
Michael's about to be married. I'm honestly so excited for that.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
My little sister's birthday's coming up. I know these aren't things.
Cute.
She asked if we could have a sleepover with my older sister, just the 3 of us, for her birthday. So
y'all about to get lit. How old is
We're
your sister
wrapping.
turning?
14.
14?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lit on
she-
sugar.
Some man dude.
Yeah. Literally. But Ingrid just closed.
Hell yeah.
We
What's up?
figured everything out with my listing,
I love that.
pretty much. And now I feel like there are like people in my pipeline that I didn't even really think of as people in my pipeline. And I think especially with everything that happened
Like,
with my listing and
when you say in your pipeline and not being in your pipeline, do you mean like people in your CRM that you didn't think were,
so, like,
or do you think like your sphere?
No real estate terms. So people in general that I've been in contact with on and off for like the last 6 months to a year that have been saying, yeah, we're interested right now, just isn't the time, maybe later, have circled back and said, hey, like, let's get this ball rolling. So that was very exciting because especially when I was talking to Mike in coaching last week or 2 weeks ago, he was like, what are you doing? Like, what's your pipeline look like now that, or what does your business look like now that your active clients are about to close? Like, what are you going to be doing then? I was like, I don't know.
It's interesting because like when I first got into real estate, I closed, I don't know, 3, maybe
60,000 in the first 2 months.
Okay,
but
no, not even close.
Right after that, I just bought my Tesla in cash. But when I was in your shoes,
None
2
of
weeks
this is
into my
true.
business.
So I don't even know where I was at this point. Okay, so I closed, I don't know, 3 or 4 in my first 8 months. And like, I was like, after the first 2 or 3, I was like, like it, like, I don't know. It just like started to like click. Like, I think there's like different like levels or different like,
I think it's definitely like
I don't
layers
say, like,
of the onion, kind of. Like, you think you get it, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm crushing it.
Like,
y'all don't even
I
know
think
what this is about. And you're like, oh my God.
When you get into in real estate, you close your first couple of deals and you're like, so now what? Right? And you don't understand that like it's it's a continuous cycle, right?
Yeah.
So like call people, prospect, follow up, like start exploring how you can run your business in different ways. And one thing that I'm trying to do right now, and it's so exhausting. It's like the YouTube videos, like all the editing, getting some of the footage, and it's not the getting the footage part because it's literally I'll go on a showing, and like my clients will be like, all right, bye, shut the door. All right, hey, it's Christian Olson here at 123 Main Street. Let's check it out. It's this 2-bed, 2-bath condo down by the beach. Da 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 da. And I can get all the footage, but then uploading it, editing it, all these other things. And I think right now where I'm at, I need to like structure my business in a way to where like I have either certain dedicated times where my attention's to something like that,
Yeah.
or I can send it off to someone who will edit it, so I don't have to worry about it. It might cost something, but
Have you talked to Liv? Is
no,
that
well,
something she'd be willing to do if you?
No, it's a whole nother thing.
Oh, okay.
I've talked about like certain ideas with Mike, but it doesn't seem like. Nonetheless, it'll have to be somewhere else. But
I feel like the majority of the time that it takes is you trying to figure it out and like what you need to do and like.
No, I know how to do it, and I'm pretty good at it. It's just time consuming.
Do I sound weird?
No.
Okay.
It's none of that. Like, I'm pretty good at video editing. At like what I think right now, right? It's pretty simple. I just cut up some clips, like I'll have some cutscenes, things like that, and then put some text on the screen at times, and I'll voice over here and there, but it's just time consuming. So like I'll make 40, 50 calls in a day, then I got to spend a couple hours editing this video. Like, it is a grind. Like, it's so much.
Yeah.
And I just have to like structure it in a way to where I can do everything and then still like understand and disconnect when I want to.
So do you do a bunch at once, or
most likely. Yeah.
You said most likely. Isn't this something you're already doing?
Well, like, it depends. Like, how many showings do I have that week?
Yeah.
Right. So like if I have a handful, I've just recorded every single one. But if I have like one or two,
are you trying to do them?
Every Tuesday, Thursday, and they'll be out. I have one coming out tomorrow. Ooh. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Living on Southern Maryland on YouTube. It's some videos kind of like about Baltimore City and County unders, like Anne Arundel, Calvert County. There'll be some Charles County and St. Mary's in there at one point, but I'm trying to focus on mainly like the area that I grew up in of Calvert, just because I love it. It's amazing bringing people over there. They've been building up quite a bit, and home values over the past 15-20 years have increased significantly. Like, the equity that people have out there is insane. And my parents have the Florida itch, and probably in the next 1 to 2 years maybe they'll go down there, but there's so many people that are just like that.
If I get my license in Florida, can I get the referral?
Sure. Okay. I guess.
Where in Florida are they looking?
I don't know. Okay. There's a handful of places that he's looking.
Okay.
Or they're looking, my dad and my mom, but
let me get their contact info.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a grind, and I want to try and be like a Calvert County like go-to person. And there's someone I met at Summit, and I think I mentioned her on here, Jenna. I'm meeting with her on Wednesday because she's like the Austin native realtor, right? She's trying to brand herself as that, and her social media content is unreal. Her energy is unfucking matched. It's absolutely unreal. It's every single day, I just love how like structured she seems, and like all the work that she's putting into her business. It's fucking wild. So I have a meeting with her on Wednesday to talk a little bit more about that, bounce some ideas back and forth, and see what I can do to help my business or even help her business, but like be that local Calvert County or Southern Maryland realtor that people know, like, and trust, And when you get into, also another weird point, like when you get into real estate, people are like, you need to be the person, you need to be the local market expert. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And Tom Ferry's like, know your numbers, know this, know that. And all true, 100% all true. But I think the biggest thing is like trust. Like, people have to be able to trust you. They have to be able to recognize you. And like, yeah, you do need to know your numbers, but like, I think trust is probably the biggest thing. Right. I don't know. And like, how can you make that relationship? Because I guess like you have to communicate with these people. You have to get in front of them, and then you have to create that trusting relationship, or like a relationship in general,
Yeah.
So it's like, how can these people that have lived here for 15, 20 years, how can I can relate to them, or how can they trust me with selling their home, all these other things. And I think it's all combined. And as you move up in real estate, or as you start to understand the ropes and understand the business a little bit more, there's so many different avenues that like you haven't thought about it this way. You haven't thought about it that way.
Agreed. Agreed.
I feel like I'm spitting off things right now.
You are. It's the layers of the onion.
It's just the sips of caffeine, one sip at a time.
Back on caffeine.
I haven't left in a long time, so I'll stick around for a while. But anything else? I think about time to make some calls and do some work. And not that this isn't work, but
do our silly little jobs.
Do our silly little jobs. Can't wait to make 50 phone calls. Yay.
Yes.
All right, Heather, how can they find you?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. My Instagram is Heather Kelley, spelled with an EY, 230. My number is 443-281-9500.
9500?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know. I just like it. Sounds like a cool number.
It is. I like saying that.
My name is Christian Olson. You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead. Check me out on YouTube. Channel is up and live for living in Southern Maryland. That's what it's called. Subscribe to us here on Spotify and YouTube as well. 2 Baltimorons, and our YouTube is the Frank Oliver Collective. Check us out. And my information is, you got my Instagram. Cool. Later.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.